Is this mic? Is this mic on over here? He needs sound on his. I've got the wireless here. Okay, Andy, we're ready.
Andy, you're on. Andy? Andy. Okay, hang on. Andy, are you there?
Much like I did, Jim Irvine's here to help out with
Okay.
Cool.
Can you hear us in the room? Can you go ahead and talk to him start?
Hey, can everybody hear me all right?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Well, hello everybody. This is Andy Moss, Product Manager for the ePowered Conferencing. And I'm sitting in a conference room at Picture Towel in Boston, so I'm sorry I can't be with you today. Obviously, the audio conferencing technology allows us to be together. So first question, Kirk, do you have the slides?
I have the slides. They're up.
Okay. Do you have audio or not?
We're going to try.
Good try. Okay. I'm on the title slide. We're going to synchronize. I'll just basically say next and have you hit the space bar to go to the next.
Sounds good.
To advance. All right. And then when I say audio, try hitting the audio. There's like a little speaker icon. And
Gotcha.
insert it. Okay.
Yep.
So the first thing next. First thing I wanted to do was level set the audience on ePowered conferencing and take a minute to talk about what Enron Communications is doing relative to this space. And it's the term product and product 5 have been applied, and the ePowered conferencing product have been applied. And I want to clarify, first of all, that what we're talking about is really a service delivery platform, not necessarily a product. So remove from your minds any misconceptions around the term product and start thinking about service. And Enron Communications is proposing to create the first global IP conferencing service delivery platform for H.323 traffic, which combines voice, video, and data conferencing on the IP network. Next, the way that we will offer these conferencing services is by forming strategic alliances with application service providers who ultimately sell the service to the end user. So if I were in sales and I saw this, I would say, what the hell does this mean for me? And I'll get to that. But basically, it means that the people in the room right there are not selling a product to the end customer in the form of conferencing. We are partnering with ASPs who ultimately will do the sale to the end user and who will ultimately bill the end user for that service that's delivered. Next, the way we create revenue is by doing a revenue share deal with the application service providers on the services the Enron delivers to the end user. And next, to that point, we will market those conferencing services through our ISP distributors, give them a cut of the action. And we don't have the sales structure, commission comp structure set, unless somebody else has done it without my knowledge, around the conferencing service. But there needs to be an incentive, and will be some kind of an incentive for the people in the room right now to promote the conferencing services to the end users. So when you're sitting in front of a customer and they say, what do you got for conferencing, you have a financial incentive to do that. Next. let's talk about the market size for a minute. I want to go through just some quick market statistics. So the total market right now for video conferencing globally is $8.5 billion or so. Kirk, you want to try the audio, see if it works?
Why make trillions when we could make millions?
That's a little quote from Austin Powers, if you're not aware. Can you hear that or not?
Speechless.
3/4? Okay. Well, Dr. Evil is a little confused on the fact that trillions is more than billions, but the point is that it's a fairly large market, and the statistics below show that there is aggressive growth in that market. Next, I'm going to talk about some of the challenges facing the market right now. There we go. I could get the audio cues from you now. System price and quantifiable return on investment. Next, cost availability of bandwidth, which we all know near and dear to our hearts. Next, ease of installation, setup, configuration, and use of the conferencing systems. Next, inferior video quality. It's not always been the best picture, especially on IP, and even over ISDN at times. Next, there's been a lack of compelling applications for the technology. People are pretty comfortable with the telephone and meeting face-to-face, not always sure why they need to meet over a video conferencing product. Next, and there's been limited deployments of video conferencing equipment. So frequently, if somebody's got a system and they want to do a video conference, they can't because the other person that they would like to talk to doesn't have the necessary equipment. Next, what are some of the market trends? First point. Next, the commercial market is experiencing slower growth, higher revenue, and margin due to unit costs. All right, I'll just kind of blast through these because this is all just framing the market for you guys. Next. Did you get that, Kirk?
Yep.
And the growth's been restrained by the availability of broader bandwidth networks and quantifiable ROI and applications for video conferencing technology. Do you want to hit the audio?
Now what, I say, what's the big idea?
Next. Let's talk about the business proposition. What's our value here? We want to turn video conferencing into a net app, or an internet application. And what does that mean? It means next that we introduce, the whole story that you guys are selling every single day, quality of service. And in the conferencing and collaboration services market, that means QoS over IP, which is something that until this date has really only been attainable through ISDN services with dedicated virtual private networks or ATM technology. Next, we are going to partner with product manufacturers and integrated service providers to create a comprehensive service offering. So we need end-to-end, and we can't do that with just having a network. So that means we're doing deals with the people that know this technology and have good products. Next, and ultimately we intend to build demand for these services through proving our return on investment with applications that are meaningful to the enterprise and ease of use to the end user. Next, this we expect will expand the overall market, accelerate growth rate, and really explode the video conferencing market from an $8 billion plus market to $20 billion and beyond over the next 3 years. Next. So what is this service that Enron's putting together? Next. We call it Internet Conferencing Made Simple. That's just a tagline my wife came up with, and I promised her I'd put it in the presentation. So. what the hell does this mean to me? And I'm like, oh, it means it's going to be easier. Next, we're going to have a collection of best-of-breed conferencing collaboration applications. So that means a range of applications, not just one or two, but a collection of the best from the market leaders. Next, we promise business quality that's only made possible by the Enron Intelligent Network. And that quality of service that you guys, again, are selling every single day to the end user, when applied to ePowered conferencing, will make a compelling story. Next, these services will be accessed via a web browser, so that makes them easier to use. People are familiar with the browser interface and will have less hesitation attempting to conference when they go through their web browser to access these services, rather than opposed to the idea of going to a conference room and looking at this big imposing system that no one's really sure how it's set up unless you call some guy from the IT department that's usually too busy to help you out. Next, and instead of looking at people that are connected to just video conferencing systems and are connected via ISDN lines and dedicated circuits, etc., we're looking at turning this into a true internet app, in that every of the now 158 million internet desktops are able to receive some level of qualified service. And that means universal availability and ubiquity. I had to sneak ubiquity in there because that, I'm sure, has been mentioned at least once in every presentation today. That means not telling everybody that they can video conference over the internet, but it means that our network will assist people in accessing some level of service. And I'll go into a little more detail on that in the future. Next, let's talk about what this means to the customer. We're talking about group communication at your fingertips. That means sitting at your desktop and having access to a variety of services that are above and beyond email, or if you have a video conferencing system, above and beyond just a two-way video conference between yourself and someone else. Next. It means, I couldn't tell if that was you guys or what I plugged into it means choosing a level of service based on your needs. Now we all know, and this is difficult for me because I cannot see you, but we all know we've dialed into an audio conference at one time or another, you know, the typical standard con call, and kept half an ear on it, hit mute, done our email, occasionally gone to the, you know, the cooler for a, you know, another refreshment or something, and not necessarily paid 100% attention. And we've done that because we've only felt we needed to keep an ear on what's going on in the conference call. And now what we're saying is at your desktop, you should be able to choose what you need and then choose it from a web page. Next. Available levels of participation are everything from high quality of service, two-way interactive video conferencing, to a streaming, a low bit rate streaming solution of a conference that's taking place, either a video stream or an audio stream even. It could be a real player audio stream only that you can get over a 14.4 connection when you're, you know, in some power plant in India, which we know is not going to happen to any of us unless we don't sell or meet our quotas. And then this proposes that we start to introduce effective group collaboration without limits. It means being able to collect a group of people and let them work together without being limited on the type of access that they have, if it's high bit rate, low bit rate, camera, no camera, telephone, you know, that's got a speaker on it or not. So it's starting to introduce a new type of communication. Next. Scheduling and receiving fulfillment of these services, they're in an automated format from your desktop computer. So again, this is high level, and I don't want to go into all the detail on how all these things should work, but to give you an idea of what the customer experience is going to look like. Next. This is a really bad characterization of what the website might look like. But it's just to give you an idea, if you take a look at a screenshot of buttons all the way down the left side that offer you various levels of service, various levels of participation, and actually various applications from different vendors. And the image in the middle screen shows the idea of a continuous presence 4-person video conference that's taking place. Kirk, do you want to hit the little audio there?
What's up, Doc?
That's my doctor that's standing there. There's a healthcare application. There's a vertical application here. Just want to make sure you're aware of the opportunities that exist with conferencing. So again, this is not what the app looks like itself, but it's to give you the concept of being able to choose different applications from different vendors from one site. Next. So what have we done with this so far? We have formed 2 strategic alliances. The first is with PictureTel, and we did that because they are a market leader in the video conferencing space. They've got a tremendous customer base. 70% of the Global 1000 do business with PictureTel in one form or another. They've got huge brand awareness and a tremendous sales channel. I think over 300 resellers that currently sell PictureTel product or services. And this is their core competence. So their overall market share in the video conferencing space is about 45 to 50%. So it's tremendous weight in the industry. We've also formed a strategic alliance with mshow.com, and they are a provider of multimedia broadcast services, which means presentations to the desktop with streaming audio and streaming video. And they're a startup based out of Denver, and they're nimble, they're creative, they're intelligent, they've got good resources, and they've got great connections to the carriers. For example, they deal with US West, etc. So some of you actually may have been participants in an M-Show at one point or another through our channel training programs. And you may not have, I don't know. But we've been using their product, which is M-Show, to assist in the training of our ISP distributors. And since I feel like I'm just talking to the conference phone here, maybe you guys could just give me a feedback. Have any of you participated in an M-Show since you started?
Yes.
Raise your hands.
We are.
All right, good. I'm not sure why I'm not using an M-Show right now, but hey, this works. Next. So let me tell you a little bit about PictureTel real quick. Again, like I said, they're the first conferencing ASP that we've done a deal with. It's based around the delivery of H.323, what they're calling e-video services. That includes video conferencing as well as streaming video options from those video conferences. So the ability to encode a conference as it's taking place, stream that live or on demand to the user. How is that sold? Right now, PictureTel will sell these services direct to the end user via their own internet portal, which they are launching hopefully in September. And the other way that they would sell it is through one of their 300 resellers. And effectively, they will market these services through our ISP distributors. Again, we revenue share with the ISPs, and everybody wins in the game. And again, I don't have the details on how the comp and incentive plan would work for you guys, but there's got to be something that will give you a reason to talk to the end users about this. So just to give you, I'm at PictureTel right now. Kirk, why don't you hit the little audio and tell them how it's going?
Help! Help! Somebody save me! Help!
Basically, I threw that in there because they're coming from an ISDN legacy world and a telco-centric view of the world, and it's been a struggle kicking and fighting along the way the last few months to get get them thinking IP. How about we hit the next slide? This is to illustrate, various delivery methods is to illustrate how the end user has options of receiving video conferencing services and where we fit into the stack. 80% of the domestic video conferencing services delivered today are over the public switch telephone network using ISDN lines. I don't know the other 20% fall somewhere on the rest of the stack, but end users, represented by major corporations would be receiving these services over either dedicated ISDN or IP circuits that they would use for a virtual private network, or over the internet. And as the EIN bullet shows, they can either receive it through a direct connection from our network or through one of our ISP distributors. And this should help also illustrate the flow of PictureTel as the application service provider delivering services to the end user through those various mediums. And I stuck the reseller at the bottom there to show that there is the potential for a reseller in that value chain who is selling to the end user. And again, I want to try to leave a few minutes for Q&A, so I'll push through to the end here. Next. Does everybody have a hard copy of this or not?
No.
Oh, okay. Apparently we'll be aggregating all the presentations and distributing them electronically. This billing and reservation example is simply up there to illustrate how an end user would actually put in a request for a video conferencing or a streaming video service from PictureTel, and how we would make that happen, and then how we get paid on it. So I don't really need to go into much detail other than saying, Kirk, hit the audio.
I'm glad I don't have to do this for a living.
So just making sure we have a little fun today. Next slide, phase 1 architecture. How are we going to do it out of the gate? Next month, next month we'll have our circuit into PictureTel Live. We're pulling a DS3 from the POP in Boston to their network operations center here, and all of the services that are performed in support of these conferencing activities over our network will be done here in their network operations center. We're expecting to go live with a beta program at the latest October 1. Our original date was September 15th, but it slipped a couple of weeks based on Bell Atlantic being unable to get the circuit in here on time. So just want to illustrate how the end user, if you look at this slide, has an option of going either over the public internet, which is, as you know, is best effort and typically a pretty bad experience when you're trying to do two-way interactive video and audio, let alone data sharing, does not fly very well. And where we add value in being able to deliver quality of service between them. And in this case, the services, again, are delivered here from PictureTel's NOC. Next slide, Kurt, illustrates phase 2, which is distributed bridging capabilities. And MCU is just one of these products that allows multiple people to, that actually controls a multi-point conference. So if 3 people or more want to talk to each other in a video conference, it's got to go through an MCU. And the way that we will improve quality of service, control quality of service, and improve the experience is by distributing those MCUs through our network. So if somebody wants to hold a conference between Portland, Seattle, and San Francisco, they don't have to send that signal all the way back to Boston to make it work. Next slide. Here's our product roadmap, just so you understand. We're supposed to hit beta at the end of September, beginning of October, and get a commercial launch hopefully before, sometime during Q4, so prior to the year 2000. And Kurt, we can hit the last little audio. That's it. That's what I got. So I've left a couple of minutes. Thanks. I know I didn't program that into the slide. What kind of questions could I answer for you in the next few minutes?
What are you in Boston talking to the PictureTel folks about?
What's that?
What are you talking to the PictureTel folks about in Boston? What new exciting things are happening with our relationship with them?
Well, I'm basically talking with them right now about all the last-minute details on how we're going to make this thing work between our network and their operations center, and talking about the sales model so that we have a clear understanding on who's selling what, how it's getting sold, who gets comped, and making sure that we clear up any misunderstandings or issues that might present a problem with us in the sales channel, which again is a little challenging because you guys are all there and I'm not, but talking to it so that I better understand their sales model with the services.
Andy?
Yeah.
Jim Rao here.
Hey, Jim.
I'm sorry I missed this. I had to step out to take a phone call earlier. Are you in any discussions with PictureTel on distributed MCU model?
They're aware of our intent to build that capabilities into the network, although our main focus right now is phase 1 service availability and centralized bridging.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep. There can't be just 2 questions after 30 minutes of me going on.
You were that good.
You guys are sharp.
Hey Andy, how do you think this is going to improve the revenue generation for PictureTel? Do you think this will drive revenues for them in year 2000?
Oh, absolutely. If you think about product versus services, services have a much higher opportunity for profit margin, and actually demand for services is much greater than demand for product right now. So I think that PictureTel is in a position to realize significant increases in revenue once this thing's off the ground and proven to be a successful offering to their customer base.
Is that it? No more questions? Andy, thanks a lot. It was great. It was fun.
Thank you. And if anybody has any offline questions, feel free to shoot me an email. And again, expect the presentation to be sent electronically to all of you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks.
Bye.
I know a lot of the focus of this training has been on the media cast, media transport, and the conferencing. Murad asked me just to step in and do a really high-level overview. I kind of represent the other aspect of our business, which is some of the carrier services. And my name is Jennifer Rawlings. And this painting is by Thomas Kincaid. Let's see. I'm going to talk primarily really quickly about our advanced fiber transport solutions, which is basically our dense wave division multiplexing service offering. You've heard a little bit today about how we're incorporating DWDM into our network, but in addition to it just being part of our network, we're also selling that as part of a service. It's kind of a wave service that we're selling. And in the simplest terms, basically what our DWDM offering is taking the capability of fiber and expanding it by about 40 times and separating different channels of light off of that fiber and selling each one of those channels as basically a private line. We're using Sienna's product line, and I'm going to go over a little bit kind of what we have in our network today versus what we're going to be having in the future. Today what we're offering is just a dense wave of OC48. You'll hear it referred to as a DW48. Future opportunities will include a dense wave of OC3, of OC12, and eventually someday OC192 as well. This is just kind of a more recent definition that I heard of. As far as offering a wave service, AFTS in its simplest form is an optically provisioned equivalent to dark fiber. We're going to do some more robust things with this service as it progresses, but that's a real basic bottom line way of offering the service, and I'll go into that just a little bit more. It's an alternative access to bandwidth, and one of the greatest benefits to offering a wave service